This is 7 News, the voice of the coast.
Tonight, a family's impossible search for a new place to call home. An exciting step forward for Grafton's new hospital.
I'm Daniel Gibson. Later on this news hour, the budget issue affecting every Australian family and the devastating vision of a local laundromat that's been swallowed by flames.
7 News begins now.
Good evening. Atari families tonight sleeping in tents and showering at truck stops as they try to navigate homelessness for the very first time. Their last-ditch search to put a roof over their head involves a helping hand from the local community.
A makeshift home, cloth walls and a zipper front door. It's a life this mother couldn't have ever imagined for her family.
I feel like a failure as a mum.
The family have been living in a tent on the riverbank for almost 2 weeks.
We have to go and have our showers at the truck stop. We're struggling food-wise, we're struggling health-wise.
It's been really tough, and also with the heat, like we had 37 degrees the other day.
Their previous rental sold. Since then, finding a new home or emergency accommodation has been near impossible.
I've found that the system that we thought would be able to provide that is broken.
Her young daughter lives with high-functioning autism, a safe and stable home, all Cindy wants for her little girl.
My daughter means more than anything in the world to me, and I will fight for her.
Between 2021 and 2024, there was a 22% increase in the number of rough sleepers. The housing crisis, rental shortfall, stretched support services and the cost of living, changing the life course of so many.
Kind hearts in the community have already begun offering support. A new tent and table. The family are beyond grateful.
And I think I've never cried so many happy tears to know that we are someone.
Hannah Hartup, 7 News.
Well, there is relief on the horizon for New South Wales renters with landmark rental reforms aimed at improving rules around renting. As part of these new reforms, rent increases will now be limited. It'll be easier to have pets in rentals and zero-fee rent payments can now be offered. Advocacy groups say, most importantly, no grounds evictions will be banned.
Evictions have just been really problematic for a long period of time, especially since COVID, I think, when there's been a lot of pressure on the rental market and a lot more pressure on tenants.
The current rental market in New South Wales is the toughest it's been for decades. And while those advocacy groups are welcoming the changes, they say much more still needs to be done. It's the transformation of an old jail that has everyone in the Clarence Valley excited. The cell blocks to be transformed into accommodation for health workers.
Grafton is slowly edging closer to the promise of a brand new hospital.
Well, this is really an exciting step forward. We now have a builder who will soon start early works.
Over $14 million dedicated to transforming the abandoned prison blocks into 36 units. Senior hospital staff thrilled, hoping it will give them the edge when recruiting staff.
If we can offer people a period of time with guaranteed accommodation while they find themselves somewhere, and it's nice accommodation, then they settle in better, they're more likely to stay.
The old hospital experiencing significant gaps, nurses especially in short supply.
And access to patients to get them into beds can be challenging at certain times. And these are all features that we see every day, and they're getting worse and worse.
Unlike the old days, the new digs will be designed for comfort. This space to house a new gym. Converting these jail cells behind me into accommodation for health workers will begin in the coming months and be completed well before the end of the year. The front of the jail will become the new Hospital Administration and Training Centre, the detailed design for the new hospital to be released in the coming months.
Planning is carried out in close consultation with clinical staff.
Key players at the hospital keeping a close eye on the state budget.
It'll be really interesting to see what's been formally earmarked.
The wish list probably exceeding the original budget of $264 million allocated to the new hospital in 2016.
Look, I'm sure the cost of building hospitals has increased since that figure was first bandied around. You only have to look at the cost of building a home, let alone cost of building a hospital.
Liz Penny, 7 News.
Big plans are in the pipeline for the old Hibbard Sports Club in Port Macquarie, with the local couple planning on turning it into a new community hub. Samantha Crowe joins us live now. And Sam, this has been a hot topic of discussion.
Yes, Nick, when the club went into liquidation, doubts were raised about the future of car parking here at the regional stadium. The land is owned by the same person who owns that building, but now it seems there may be a solution that will work for everyone. A space with huge potential that sat empty for 10 months. Now there's big plans in the works for the former Hibbard Sports Club.
We have massive plans to turn this area into one of the biggest community spots, not just in Port Macquarie, but on the whole entire North Coast.
The Hibbard Sports Club entered administration last April and closed in May, creating doubt around future sporting events, with the car park used by the regional stadium also up for sale. The plan now is to activate the space and allow the use of the car park for both venues.
Gives them an opportunity as well to open up the stadium, make it more operational, have more game day events and stuff like that. And then when they're hungry, they can come over, or the patrons come over and have a bite to eat.
The Eats EQ space will feature a Greek yum cha taverna, dessert bar, live music and cooking classes. But most of all will be a space for the community.
We really want to encourage other people who have ideas for events and festivals to approach us where they'll be fully supported. But we also have some amazing businesses that are joining us as well.
Businesses like Filly Up and just announced today Soul Sister Gracing and Tunstead Oysters, including an oyster shucking bar.
Amazing food trucks with bringing so much vibrance, festivals, night markets, and lots and lots and lots of fun.
An opening is scheduled by July. Samantha Crowe, 7 News.
There is a boost to frontline emergency care on the Clarence tonight. An extra 7 paramedics have started work at the Yamba ambulance station this month. The new cohort helping to improve those response times. It's all part of Labor's commitment to deliver 500 extra paramedics to country areas.
These highly skilled paramedics will help drive better health outcomes for patients and their families, ensuring regional communities receive the same high-quality care as the metropolitan areas.
In total, 125 extra paramedics will start work across the regions in the coming months. Anti-logging activists gathered outside Taree Courthouse today, rallying to support 3 people arrested in the Bulga Forest last November. Marg McLean, Mitra Ellis and Susie Russell all pleaded guilty. They say their actions were out of desperation, worried the forest and its wildlife won't be there for future generations.
It's time for the logging to stop. The public forests should be used for the public good.
At least 3 more members of the group will face court for similar charges over the coming months. Year 10 students teamed up with homeless services today to help provide some basic essentials. John Paul College families donating toiletries to those who are doing it tough.
The Vinnie's van service is a newcomer to the homelessness scene on the Coffs Coast, spreading a bit of kindness and building connections.
Offer tea, coffee, snack, a piece of fruit, and then we have referrals. So we have other agencies that work with us.
John Paul College students today helping expand operations.
Year 10 Catholic Studies class, and I felt that would be good for them to do something where they're putting their Catholic faith in action.
Students packing donated toiletries into sealed bags for distribution amongst the homeless.
Like toothbrushes, toothpaste, and it's long lasting as well, so they have like a lot of time to use it.
The sprawling numbers of people sleeping rough on the Coffs Coast very evident.
Walking around Coffs Harbour you do see a few, but we know that there's quite a few people that aren't seen.
The toiletry packs intended to help maintain good health in challenging circumstances.
Poor dental hygiene leads to gastro, issues, even your self-esteem,
The basic essentials helping boost morale.
Everybody wants to, look as presentable as they can and be, feel clean and fresh.
Vinnie's van is now on the lookout for volunteers to build the outreach. This Penny 7 News.
Kirsty's here now for a look at all of today's weather conditions. And Kirsty, some grey skies out there today.
Yes, overcast indeed, Nick. Hello to you and good evening, everybody. Quite dry overnight, and it has been for most of the day so far after those showers throughout yesterday. But we woke to grey skies with some fog around. That cloud and that fog also kept in some heat with our minimums around the high teens and the low 20s, much like what we've had for most of this week. Our maximums reached the high 20s, though it actually felt warmer today thanks to a very high humidity. It was into the afternoon we started to see some wet weather falling, with around 20 millimetres in Bellingen. Through Ballina and Lismore, about 4 millimetres has fallen so far. And tomorrow will be quite the same as what we've had today, but more wet weather is on the forecast. In fact, we could be in for a bit of a washout later in the week. How much rain are we expecting? I'll have all those details after sport, Nick.
OK, Kirsty, that sounds good. We'll check in soon. Well, stay with us here at 7 News. The National Adaptive Surfing titles hit the water at Byron up next, and a heartwarming story of survival for one sea turtle.
And a little later on this news hour, hours away now from a pre-election budget, we'll have everything that you need to know. Also tonight, how a laundromat fire has created a health hazard. Plus, a security breach. There's been a group chat mishap for the White House with a journalist accidentally added.
Sea turtles are splashing their way to freedom tonight after being released at Lennox Head. It's been a long road to recovery for one turtle who was on the brink of death just 7 months ago.
Eager to get back in the water.
As you're driving towards the beach in the truck, they can smell that ocean and they can hear the waves. You can hear them getting really rowdy in the back.
5 sea turtles braving the waves in Lennox Head after Cyclone Alfred delayed their departure.
We didn't want to put them out having to deal with the extra pressure of the swell that was there and the surge.
Juvenile turtle Moana was rescued in Woolai in September last year.
And she was in really poor condition, just really lifeless and underweight. And so I brought her back, I think it was on a weekend, brought her back to our hospital.
Brought back from the brink of death, finally released today.
We were thinking of euthanizing her because she was just so unwell, but then all the vets decided that they would attempt a blood transfusion.
Floating syndrome still a common occurrence among sea turtles.
Build up a gas internally so they can get this through parasites, water quality, toxins in their food, can be plastic as well.
Cyclone Alfred exacerbating the problem, leaving grown turtles and hatchlings stranded ashore.
So we've got 6 hatchlings at the moment who are in our care and they're not far off. And also then obviously our seabirds were another one we had an influx of.
Swimming to a better life. Elise Holden, 7 News.
The Australian Parasurf Championships have now kicked off in Byron Bay. Adaptive surfers have competed across 8 different divisions today for a chance at the title. Locals Matt Formston and Daniel Toomey just missed out on the vision impaired final. Jack Jackson placing first by 1 point, just in front of Matt.
They're all competing for a spot in the Irukandjis, so they will represent Australia, both a guy and girl in every division. So they'll be off to California at the end of the year.
The prone, kneeling and standing finals will kick off tomorrow morning before the international competition starts. Stay with us here at 7. Up next, why Port Macquarie Paralympian says he's got more to give, and age just a number for these golf-mad seniors.
Tomorrow on Sunrise, federal budget breakdown, how the big announcements affect you and your family.
Plus, 2 of Hollywood's funniest stars, one wild interview. Seth Rogen and Catherine O'Hara are dropping in for brekkie.
See you in the morning.
Port Macquarie wheelchair rugby legend Riley Batt has hosed down speculation he's played his last match for Australia. In a social media post today, Riley confirms he is taking time away from the sport, recovering from recent shoulder and elbow surgery, but a 7th Paralympic campaign, he says, is still on the radar.
Taking a bit of a break, and to be honest, I am keen as to get back with the team and to build up until LA Paralympics in 2028.
The former Australian Steelers captain has represented his country for the past 22 years. Champions have been crowned in Port Macquarie today as part of the Hastings School futsal titles. More than 25 teams taking part in the under-14s division, with additional ages to be played in the coming days.
The under-14s girls fought right until the end when Camden Haven High came up against Great Lakes Tuncurry in this afternoon's grand final. At full time, the score was 1-1, pushing the game into golden goal, but with both teams unable to score, it came down to a long penalty shootout.
Crazy. I've never had a penalty shootout go that long before, so it's very surreal, I guess.
After 2 full rounds of the shootout, it was Camden Haven who clinched the victory, walking away with the school titles honours.
Our heads didn't drop when they scored the first goal. We just kept trying to, encourage each other more, and yeah.
And they were pretty tough competition.
Yeah, they're very good.
In the under-14s boys, St Columba Anglican School came up against MacKillop College, a team they narrowly defeated in the earlier rounds.
We beat them, and then it was a bit fiery in that game. So we knew that we were going to be in for a bit of a fight when we knew that they were in the grand final.
It was a hard-fought victory with a draw at full time. The game again went into overtime. St Columba, the first to score and securing glory.
I think we just had more determination than them. I mean, we didn't stop running until the very end.
Samantha Crowe, 7 News.
Well, they say age is just a number, and for these keen players, that is certainly true. The best senior golfers in the country have teed off at Harrington Waters for the over-80s national tournament. And some of these athletes are in their 90s, not letting age stop them on the fairway.
On the green, proving age is just a number.
Today we've got the Harrington Waters Golf Club over 80s championships.
Almost 100 senior golfers hit the carts for the 9th year of the tournament.
I'm well into the 80s now, and so there's never been an event in our area that I could play in previously.
The 3-day event offering a social day out for some.
The golf mightn't be any good, like the score mightn't be any good, but the friendship's great.
And a chance for reigning champ Jack Parker to take out his 4th win.
Nothing lasts forever, but we'll try and keep it as long as we can.
30 players competing for the first time, 9 still putting in their 90s.
Hey, I'm feeling great. It's a bonus to wake up of a morning.
9 holes played each day, the course popular amongst travelling clubs.
It's in prime condition, and it usually always is when you come here.
Prize money aside, there's a benefit to all that play. Their mental and physical health strong, a reminder that no age is too late to get involved.
I just think it's so good to see all these people out here enjoying themselves, and they keep fit, and everybody's just lovely.
Hannah Hartup, 7 News.
Well, there is the risk of heavy rain tracking along the coast. Up next, Kirsty will be back with your all-important local weather forecast.
Hello everyone, a ridge of high pressure is generating mostly clear and settled skies over the next couple of days, while a wet weather system is building through Queensland. This wet weather system will migrate south into north and northeastern parts of New South Wales, likely from Friday and into the weekend, before continuing south and affecting the rest of the state. We can see that risk of heavy rain tracking along our north coast, with moderate to heavy falls through northern and central inland regions too. The heavier showers for the coast are likely between Friday and Sunday, first hitting the far north and then moving towards the mid-coast. Around 130 to 150 millimetres is possible up and down our coastline, with flooding also a risk. Now tomorrow we're not expecting that significant wet weather just yet, but we could see some showers at around 5 to 15 millimetres, remaining grey and cloudy, though we're expecting light winds. Temperatures cooling off slightly, returning to just the mid-20s for most regions, which is a little below our mark March average. On the waters, seas tomorrow sitting around 1.5 metres at Byron, down to 1 metre for the Coffs Coast. Our swell around 2 to 3 feet and winds becoming easterly at 15 knots for the Macquarie coast. Heading into Thursday, again some scattered showers. They're likely to be lightest in the south around the likes of Taree and Port Macquarie, increasing to around 10 millimetres, including and north of Coffs Harbour. Again, mild temperatures sitting around the mid to high 20s, though those maximums could actually feel higher, like today, with that high humidity around. Come Friday, we'll start to see some heavier showers arriving into the afternoon and evening, around 20 to 25 millimetres, though those totals could be higher, all depending on how this wet weather system develops through Queensland. Grey skies, a cool day in Casino, 23. And the same for Lismore, also 23 degrees. Now, heavier falls are forecast on Saturday, up to 60 millimetres in 24 hours for some. We'll be keeping a very close eye on all of this wet weather over the coming days.
Yeah, we certainly will. Kirsty, thank you. Well, that's your local news for tonight. I'm Nick Hose. Thanks for your company. Stay with us here at 7. Up next, Dan has your latest national news. Have a great night, and Kirsty and I will see you tomorrow at 6.